It's the first night of the IORA Cup Series playoffs. The regular season is out of the way, and now only 12 drivers remain in the championship chase. It's throwback night from the Lady in Black, and we welcome you once again to coverage of the IORA chase for the championship. Welcome back live on FTN. The track too tough to tame is the host, Darlington, for 100 laps of action in the South Carolina 133. It's going to be a very exciting showcase here as IORA once again moves on to the playoff format we saw in its early seasons, took a break from it last season, and it's back this time around. Elimination style racing, and the round of 12 begins here in Darlington. Welcome back to FTN for a triple header tonight. We've got 3 broadcasts. The NASCAR Road to Pro qualifying iRacing series begins their coverage at 8 Eastern, and the Highline Racing League finishes their 17th season tonight, starting at 9:30 Eastern. The championship race is exciting, and I'll be leading you through all of the action. I'm David Kreutz, your commentator and producer for tonight's event. As it stands, we've got the front of the field and the back all getting onto the track for single car qualifying. James Larrabee asking about, I believe, Devins Baker. Baker is with us tonight and already took an attempt at qualifying. However, doesn't look like he got a time in. And now Jackson Carr is the driver on the track. The number 83 machine, a throwback to Red Bull Racing and their time in NASCAR. The 83, familiar for a few drivers, one in particular that sticks out in mind, Brian Vickers, perhaps a few of the other drivers such as Scott Speed, who came up with that program, but it looks like his run is done and Carr is tentatively at the pole position. Now Tyler Tinsley's coming around, and Tinsley is going to find himself up into second. So Tyler Tinsley in the tin can number 75 up to second on the board for now. Up next is Xander McKinney, and McKinney is going to be that number 40. A familiar paint scheme to his Sunday night ride on FTN with the SRL Cup Series, and as he works all the way down that back straightaway here, going to try to get himself set up for a good lap, maybe to match your best. Our provisional pole sitter right now, Jackson Carr, has the pole by 0.6 of a second, and as he comes across the line, McKinney close, but not enough. He'll meet them both in the middle, and Will Shack tonight is going to be in that Eric McClure throwback paint scheme. The number 31 Reynolds wrap car now gets on his way. Shack coming around, and you can see very loose from the entry and the exit of pit road on, and he still stays that way all the way around. You see, oh, so close to getting loose and tapping the wall. As it stands, you can see Shack gonna stay right up there and coming across the wall again. No contact. He'll be good to go. That's a 29.747. Will Shack going to find his way around, and he's going to make it all the way down to the bottom of the circuit. James, if you're asking about the league racing, every single league is inside the FTN Discord, and for the viewers who want to check it out and join the fun, scan the QR code right now on your screen, or, of course, visit the links in our description. Road to Pro starts in just a few minutes' time, and that's automated by iRacing. Their rules and regulations apply. The 023 of Jacques Carter goes around spinning, doesn't get out of his outlap, and Carter's run is done. The 023 Burger King machine has concluded his run, and it looks like Alexander Balderas throwing it back to himself. The 95, his first ever IORA Cup Series win. It came just a few weeks ago in Fontana, and as such, now looking to throw it back to himself and give a little bit more recognition to that first career victory. Balderas now looking to get back up there to the likes of Jackson Carr. 95 looking to the bottom side of the little banking that these drivers have. And Darlington being a particularly narrow track, the margin of error is very small. Balderas seems to hit the nail on the head, though. Provisional pole with a 29.549. Aaron Schugel now up next in the 91, throwing it back to Bill Elliott and the Coors number 9. And it looks like right now it's going to be the JFR 91 taking it to the circuit. Schugel running down the back straightaway, a Melling Racing throwback. Bill Elliott's one and only championship came with that organization in 1988, I believe. Several wins across his decade and a half tenure with the team, starting in the late 1970s and moving on to the 90s when he ended up owning his own team for a brief period. Schugel up to the top of the board, and it looks like channeling some of that Bill Elliott spirit up to the top as it's the Dale Earnhardt Jr. throwback for the 88 of Vincent Guecci. The first time this season he's run run a paint scheme with a number on it, and throwing it back to Dale Jr.'s late career stint with Hendrick Motorsports and the nationwide number 88. Neon yellow tonight and the pink spoiler, which indicates that this is a driver in the playoffs. Running down to the back straight and up to the front, Guecci going to come through with a 29.356, good for second by 21 thousandths. Corey Lyles now on the way, and the number 56 Tracker Bass Pro Chevy Camaro has now gotten going. And Lyles is going to get loose, keep it together. His run's not over, but he's not going to set a competitive lap. And the DEI throwback is now all out of sorts. He's going to have to come down to the stripe and sacrifice a lot of time. Coming down on the way, it is going to be Corey Lyles down and in. His lap, 31.454, slow, enough to put a time in, but it is not at all what he wants. Here comes Daniel Mosteller and another nationwide paint scheme, and it looks like a little bit before the previous one, Guecci going to the 2016-2017 era. It looks like for Demos, a little bit more like the 2014 paint scheme that Dale Jr. won the Daytona 500 with. However, it's all blacked out as it's a night race here in South Carolina. Mosteller, the all-time most successful driver in this league, hoping to get a little bit more out of that tonight. Coming across the line, and Demos goes up to the top of the board by 2/10. A very impressive run, and from veteran to rookie, it's the 01 throwback to Dale Earnhardt Incorporated once again. You might think of drivers such as Mark Martin or Martin Truex or Paul Menard when it comes to this paint scheme. It's the 01 of Pravin Vijaykumar, and it looks like right now Pravin coming down that back straight at a speed of 173 before backing it in. Brand new driver in this league, and Pravin getting a chance to go to very, very delicate circuit when it comes to that optimal line, and running quick. It's a 29.251, good for second as it stands. Not bad in the slightest for another rookie looking to impress, much like Ashton Crowder did. Henry Kaloff now on the way, and the number 63 machine gets going. Now this paint scheme is a very, very personal throwback. It goes back to Henry Kaloff's grandfather way back when in the 1970s. He was a dirt track driver at that time and run an all-white number 63 in his local circuit. Kaloff is going to throw it back, and it looks like now the number 63 up to 5th with a personal tribute tonight. He's up inside the top 5 for now, with River Page coming up next in that 24, and it's the Jeff Page throwback here, the Haggard Electrical number 24. It's a tribute for him and his father. Coming down the back straight, and another driver going to be ripping through. 2 on the track right now. And tonight we've got 2 Wilkersons, both of which are not related, mind you. However, the first of which is Jacob Wilkerson. So now it's going to be Jacob getting through, and you can see a little bit of a wobble out of the number 43 STP machine. Wilkerson often runs this paint scheme, but it also is a throwback, of course, to Richard Petty and the bulk of Petty Enterprises. And a well-known paint scheme, no doubt, has 1 win so far this season. Wilkerson looking for a bit more as he's the wild card entry into our championship picture. And now, Jacob making his way for PBR and Paintbrush Racing. Jacob Wilkerson, successful in the Wednesday night campaign of the FORL Cup Series, hasn't quite made his mark the same way here in IORA. Maybe a chance to do so tonight, as Wilkerson is going to find himself now 8th on the qualifying charts. Devins Baker on pit road. Jim Thurston in the LW Wright paint scheme is on the way. Now, Wright, not successful as a driver, but the legend that followed that number 34 team out of Talladega in 1981, that's what kept the story enticing for several decades. Eventually, they caught up to LW just about 2 years ago. Unfortunately, he has since died, but the mystery did, in some way, get closure. Now, there's a lot still to uncover, and whether or not that's going to be decided or discovered remains to be seen. But for James Thurston, it looks like right now that LW Tribute having some success already in his NR Night in America career, and now coming across at the 29.108. That is good for the pole. Thurston usurps Page and makes it up top. Now, one driver we're still waiting on. It looks like they choose not to go, and Scott Wilkerson, that is a very, very niche throwback, shall we say. Checkered flag is out, and for those who don't know, early Roush Fenway throwback that appears to be to Ted Musgrave's brief Cup Series career, and as such, we are now out of qualifying. The field is lined up, and it's time to get to know your starting grid from top to bottom. Right now, Vincent Guecci finds himself the highest position driver on the grid. We're still waiting for a few more, and as soon as we get them, we're going to show you who we're working with. Aaron Schugel going to be right beside him, but at the top of the board tonight, to lead off your starting grid with that 29.108, it is Jim Thurston in LW right, number 96. Then from there, it's going to be River Page, who finds himself in second, and the 24 right there in the all-white Toyota Supra. Third spot on the running order is then going to go to Daniel Mosteller, and the rookie tonight that we got to keep an eye on is Pravin Vijaykumar, and right now it is 0-1 in fourth, getting it right beside your two-time IORA Cup Series champion. Then you see fifth in Aaron Schugel, and it is sixth in Vincent Guecci, and seventh place is Henry Kaloff with Alexander Balderas, position number 8. How about ninth place for Jacob Wilkerson and Jackson Carr for 10th, and 11th goes to Will Shack with Xander McKinney, position number 12. 13th is Tyler Tinsley, and 14th is Corey Lyles, with 15th being headed instead to Devins Baker and Jacques Carter, then right beside him. The final row and the final driver, the number 70 of Scott Wilkerson, to round out your 9-row field here in the virtual Darlington Raceway. The Lady in Black sees one driver, which does not appear to be with us, and it is currently Brandon Dugan. We'll see whether or not Dugan joins back in, but as it stands, we have a total of 17 drivers set to go when the pace car gets out of neutral and grabs a gear for our one and only pre-race pace lap. Thurston going to be the driver at the top of the board when it comes to qualifying position, but let's keep our eyes, of course, on the championship race as well. That's another important position, of course, to keep updated on. And if you know who's up in front, you know they're also going to be up in front at the starting grid. Overall, your point standings coming into this event have River Page as your leader. Jim Thurston's going to be second, and Daniel Mosteller is third. Well, they come in all top 3 in qualifying, and it's telling that they're up there once again. Then there's Alexander Balderas, who's right now in 8th in qualifying, 4th in points, and Corey Lyles is going to be right there with in 6th. Henry Kaloff right there in the middle, 5th spot as it stands. Aaron Schugel is 7th, and Vincent Guecci is in 8th, with Brendan Dugan and Will Shack 9th and 10th. Chase Schaefer and Jacob Wilkerson 11th and 12th wild card drivers. However, it is apparent that it's a part-time campaign for Chase Schaefer. He will not be championship contending this season. So, focus is on your drivers up in front. We've seen this combination play out before, but we have never seen it play out in the IORA Cup Series. Thurston, of course, looking to get that lap 1 jump and get away by the time he hits the Boeing backstretch. We'll figure out whether or not he can do so here at our throwback track. It's a piece of stock car racing history, and we're about to write a new chapter here in the IORA Cup Series. Coming across the line, Jim Thurston will lead us to the green flag. Welcome to the Darlington Raceway. We are green in a South Carolina 133. Jim Thurston, top of the board right now. He's going to get that jump he needed, and as such, is a quarter of a second advantage to River Page. 2 laps in out of 100, and if you look right now, most of the field relatively tight. Brandon Dugan came off a pit road there, so he misses the start, and the rookie of Pravin Vijaykumar has a little bit of trouble, but keeps it going. Pravin now down the inside of that straightaway, and the second driver had a little bit of trouble keeping it straight, and as such, that number 70, Scott Wilkerson, getting it going. Now, that is a Roush throwback. Maybe not the same throwback we thought it was initially. You might also think that's Greg Biffle's mid-2000 paint scheme, or a little bit of a deep cut Kirk Shelmer deal. He ended up getting a few of those older Roush cars on loan about a here to down the line. Wilkerson loose, and he's going to find himself backing down the inside, keeping himself straight with another issue out of 2. That's what Tyler Tinsley suffered from as well, but they'll all keep going, and as such, across the line again, 4 laps through, Jim Thurston keeping them going. Single file up in front looks to be the trend. As it stands, there's a lot of opportunities for these drivers to make do with what they have, but there's not a lot of racing room. Here at the Darlington Raceway, we've seen over 7 decades of action, and one thing that drivers now use for the majority of their racing, it comes down to the highest strip of circuit, and you can see these lanes would have increased banking. Originally, that was not meant to be the racing circuit and was instead used as a safety precaution to make sure drivers did not fly off the track. As we may see right now, Scott Wilkerson and a few others getting by, but Will Shack has trouble. Cautions out the 31. He ends up getting shot up in the wall, and that's exactly what we were hoping to avoid. First caution of the day, and you can see it there. Will Shack, among others, catching a piece. Here's an instant replay, and we'll show you what just happened here. Will Shack in the number 31 looks to go down the inside on Corey Lyles and come up, and there's contact there at the number 40 of Xander McKinney, putting Shack further to the wall. It looks like everyone else stays straight, but a multi-car incident, and caution is out. 6 laps in out of 100 here, and a first yellow flag for an incident in the back of the field. Will Shack there, he is one of the championship contenders. Not good for him to start off with such a early incident. He finds himself from the outside looking in for the second round already. That's just going to add insult to injury here, as Jim Thurston is going to bring the field down and in. It's going to be Thurston, Page, Mosteller, and majority of your leaders opting to go through this time. We have a very strict limit today in regards to our fueling system and our tires. So 4 tires that's allowed throughout the entire race. You're starting with 1. It looks like you're going to only have 3 in pit road, and additionally 80% fuel limit. So when it all comes down to it, you do need multiple stops, but you need to be very careful with the stops you make. Right now, Vincent Guecci getting up to his pole position stall. It looks like he has the highest position stall of anyone here. And just like that, a few others making it out. River Page gets through, then Thurston, then Daniel Mosteller. And as they leave, you also see Aaron Schugel and Jacob Wilkerson in the distance. Furthermore, there's the number 01 of Pravin Vijaykumar and Corey Lyles as they come across into the back straight. Looks like now pit cycle has concluded. Guecci is going to be among those at the front of the field as more and more leave pit road. You see Balderas flying by and organized once again. River Page, winner off of pit road here. Jim Thurston going to follow, and Daniel Mosteller, he finds himself 3rd off and 10th overall, with Will Shack looking to go down and in this time by. And the 31 set to repair some damage after that first piece of contact. So now, caution's still flying, and it's Vincent Guecci up in front. He already has a few scrapes on the high side of that number 88. You see it there, the right in the front. A little bit of the paint being lost in one of the early Darlington strikes of the day. Now, Vinny getting a chance to lead, choosing to stay out on track. And we'll see whether or not that risk plays in his favor, trying to go for maybe a little bit of the long game, because only 8 laps we've run so far. Not a lot of warmth in the tires, not a lot of that heat put into the pavement. Not much has happened so far when it comes to track conditions changing, and the weather pretty fair as well. Right now, 76 degrees Fahrenheit with low humidity and winds westbound at 5 miles an hour. Overall, everything in the driver's favor, really not too much to worry about. And track temperature, that's going to come in right now at 77 Fahrenheit. So it shouldn't be too much of an issue for the drivers that know the conditions they're working with. I think for Vincent Guecci, he's understanding of the fact that isn't too bad right now, so you can push it a little bit and get some track position right back out. Guecci up top this time by. Jackson Carr going to be right there on the bottom. Let's get back at it one more time here as Vinny gets things going. Green flag is out, and Guecci makes it by the start-finish line, your new race leader. And right now, Vinny going to be able to get away with about 0.3 of a second. Good to get that jump out in front again, and the leaders have such an advantage working that groove, no matter if they choose the top side or the bottom, because at Darlington, first driver through often gets the corner by default. We were mentioning how small the amount of racing surface you have here is. The straight is pretty wide, but when you have to merge back up, it's a risk. Maybe sometimes it is worth taking, but it's about a lane and a half, all things considered. And you can see Henry Caloff there nearly dropping down to the apron, trying to find an opportunity to stick it out to the perhaps further inside portion of the track. And if you get stuck up on the outside, you might end up like what we saw with Will Shack, and you might end up stuck in the wall. And now back with the leaders and nearly in the wall himself, leaning off of Jacob Wilkerson. And Wilkerson going to come a little bit of slack down there. So, not much of trouble there for the number 43 as he gets away. Corey Lyles now coming through, and you see a fight here up to the high side. Henry Caloff running good, and the number 63 looking for an opportunity for his first win, fighting another all-white car. It looks like it's Chevy versus Toyota. Very similar race schemes. Right now, Caloff going to lose the battle of the all-white stock cars. As such, it's Peter Page who gets by. He's there in third. Jackson Carr still runner-up, and Vincent Guecci, he's gotten the way. He's got the lead, and it looks like he's got it by a comfortable margin. Further back, now Jim having rebound from, of course, going down to pit road early and trying to figure out whether or not that is the right call so far. The last few races we've had here in the IORA Cup Series, it's fair to assume that we are going to have more green flag racing more of the time. I think that's what these drivers are banking on more and more, because we've had a string of 2 caution races at the very most. So Thurston right now, understanding it's going to be a very long-term race, as the majority of the season has been, deciding to be a little bit more patient right now, understanding that circumstance and slowly but surely cutting through the field. Page and Mosteller have been a little bit risky. They came from the same point, but they've gotten up there quicker. Maybe that's going to help them for now, but I think for Thurston, the game plan is let this all ride out and figure out what's next, as the caution's going to fly for the second time tonight, and Tyler Tinsley has a lot of damage there on the front side. Yellow flag is out. Alexander Balderas is scuffed up, and Aaron Schugel, more of the same. He's got the front end almost entirely destroyed, and it looks like some trouble immediately. And an incident for the number 95, the 91, and the 75 of Tyler Tinsley. We'll see where it starts here, and it looks like it's going to start perhaps with Tinsley. And as we take this instant replay, here is a look back. Tinsley going to be right there in the number 75. Balderas drops down to the apron to avoid Aaron Schugel, comes up and hits Tinsley. So Tyler going to get involved in the aftershock. Alexander Balderas saw the first incident firsthand, then got involved with the second. So right on board right now, the number 95, and you'll see everything that just happened. And then Tyler Tinsley comes by and ends up spinning at about the same time. And just like that, 3 drivers catching huge damage. Yellow flag is out again, and for championship contenders like Balderas, very bad news so quickly. And 95, oh, he almost comes up there to Evans Baker. And the caution is out, as it's going to be Balderas frantically coming down at a pit road. Looking again, Guecci's your leader, and it looks like he decides to stay out while another set of drivers come in to top off fuel here. I think that's all they're going to be coming through for. Pit road busy once again, and you're going to see drivers come in for a splash and go. Thurston gets himself back out there. Most of the field decides to go for the same route. Just like that, Thurston up to 4th, Caloff to 5th, and you've only got now 3 drivers that chose to stay out. Vincent Guecci, Daniel Mosteller, who's already gone down to pit road once, and Scott Wilkerson, who came down not at all. Same with Guecci. Demos has gone down for 1 pit stop. Just about the rest of the field has gone in. And only 2 drivers now have not gone down to pit road in our first 16 laps. About the 5th of the way through when we come back to green. And as it stands, chat room is active. If you guys have favorite drivers here in the IORA Cup Series, make sure to let us know. James Larrabee and Durnix, thank you guys for stopping by. And we are just getting started here. So, of course, make sure to stick around for the most exciting parts of the racing, which are coming up soon. The IORA Cup Series kicking off the championship race, and Daniel Mosteller goes down and under. Vincent Guecci can have the top side, and we'll see now with the two nationwide Chevy Camaros up in front coming through. Two by two, and the iRacing official pace car is going to let loose this time by. The field coming back after our second caution so far, and it looks like the back half of the field having a lot more trouble than anyone else. Scott Wilkerson getting an end-of-line penalty here, so the number 70 going to drop further back. Jackson Carr going to get by him, and Wilkerson as such going to find himself at the tail end down the Boeing backstretch. Up in front, though, everyone else is 2 by 2, and it's time to see which of the drivers here in the nationwide cars gets away first. Wilkerson is your official control car. However, Daniel Mosteller has a set of younger rubber. Let's see who's got what it takes here as we come across the line. This time by, it's going to be Guecci up high and Mosteller down low. Green flag gonna fly yet again for our second restart of the day. Green flag's out and Guecci gets a slightly better jump. We'll see who carries it through 1 and 2. So now it's going to be Vincent Guecci ahead and away of Daniel Mosteller, and look at this, Jim Thurston with a new set of Goodyear rubber already up to the top side and has an advantage. He cut through, got the track position, and now has the speed. Best of both worlds, and he's bringing River Page right there with them. So it looks like pit road might have been the better call for these leaders, and as such, it's a change of pace. Jim Thurston now going to be working to the high side. He's got Vincent Guecci, the only driver ahead of him now, and we're going to see what Thurston can do. Working down the back straight. Is he going to dive low? He does, but that's down to the apron, so not much you can do right there. He decides to back it down and let off for the time being. He's up in front, though, of a few hard chargers. River Page got by for third. Now you see a few of your others who are up in front of the field making that same move. Pravin Vijay Kumar now finds himself in fifth, with Henry Kaloff up in sixth himself. And then seventh, Corey Lyles, the bulk of the field on new rubber, and those who decided not to be, they're suffering the consequences. Guecci up top, Thurston now looking low, and he is looking to take it as far as he needs to make that pass side by side across the stripe. And Thurston, he's got himself up in front here just by about half a car length, and he's got it there. How about that for Jim and the 96 team? Now, new race leader in the Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsport 96. Thurston up in front of a single file train here in Darlington, South Carolina. So Jim's up top. Now we've got Vincent Guecci second and River Page in third. Top five going to be concluded by Daniel Mosteller and Pravin Vijaykumar. How about we ride on board right now with the rookie making his first ever IORA Cup Series start and figure out exactly what's going on here inside the cockpit of a driver. Still getting used to things here at the Lady in Black. Right now, Vijay Kumar still going to be in fifth. Daniel Mosteller has gotten out of the top three briefly, made his pass back in, and Vincent Guecci has fallen back now to fourth. With an opportunity for Pravin to go for that position, it looks like Vinny's still losing spots as the 0-1 drops to the inside line. Dead even right now. It looks like now Guecci gets the slightly better run, bringing Henry Kaloff there with them. It's going to help out Vinny for the time being, but with older tires, it's only a matter of time until he ends up wiping himself out. Not in terms of a wreck, but in terms of not having enough speed to keep up with those who find themselves on a new set of Goodyear Eagles. It's simply a huge advantage as Alexander Balderas disconnects, and bad news for the driver who started so far up in the front of the point standings. He disconnects by choice for the first time this season before the halfway mark. So that's going to be a little bit of a championship shift as the 95 is done and done. Now you see down to the inside, Guecci goes again, and it looks like now Henry Kaloff is up in fourth, maybe to chase down Daniel Mosteller. Aaron Schugel going to be with Jacob Wilkerson here. You see Schugel dropping himself just a little bit lower, and the STP-43 now finds itself caught up in that 2x2 action. 2 wide is very, very treacherous here at Darlington, almost in the same way 3 wide would be at the typical circuit. When you go 2 wide here in Darlington, there is just about no room left, and you just cannot make it 3 wide unless you use that apron, which most drivers, of course, would not like to use, and those who do don't often find anything good coming from it. Staying side by side for long is a challenge in itself, and for a lot of these drivers, you really don't want to test it. A few back out before the corners, a few try to send it in a little bit deeper, knowing the next driver will not, and it becomes this game of back and forth driving where you want to see who decides to go in and who doesn't, and you figure out that you're the driver who's more aggressive, maybe you have the advantage lunging it in. If you know you're a little bit more conservative with this type of strategy, let the other driver potentially make a mistake. Aaron Schugel is going to get wiggled right off, and that's the thing about being the inside driver, which is an advantage in some ways. You can avoid a wreck by diving low, but also if you get tagged and they take it 3 wide, this is going to be trouble if they don't behave proper. It looks like Schugel is going to get tapped right off, and that's the disadvantage of being down low. If someone hits you, you are going to be sent back, and Vinny going to give Aaron Schugel a simple 3-word message. Don't do that. He says it over the chat room, and it looks like now the precedent has been set. Let's try not to go 3 wide. And it looks like Gwetchy not happy with it, and he's going to get tilted. The 88 with some secondary contact from Brandon Dugan goes around, and I'd have a hard time believing that was not intentional. It was a ricochet into the number 88, a small tap, and it makes all the difference. Caution is out, and we might have some beef on the racing circuit here. Caution flies, and it looks like now we're going to have to figure out what happened there. You saw it all come together, so we'll watch it back again. Caution out, 29 laps in, and you will take a look once more. And you can see Aaron did go under after Vinny was in the middle, and Gwetchy not having a liking of that, and he sent Schugel down low, but Aaron's response is what's particularly interesting. Take a look at this. And it looks like it's going to be 2 drivers making contact, leading to the 3rd, and you can see by that point Gwetchy far out of the picture. Aaron Schugel, who got the message sent to him not to take it aggressive, ends up making some contact and giving way to trouble. Caution is out. Yellow flag is going to fly 30 laps in. And just like that, pit road is going to become active once more. We're about a third of the way through, and when we come back, we will definitely be at that rate. So we're going to have a little bit of time to figure out who goes in for what. Maybe going to see some drivers try a 2-stop strategy early. Most are going to go for 4 and fuel, it appears. And now River Page is going to send himself down and in right beside Jim Thurston. And just like that, the race off pit road is already going to be underway. Taking a look at the exit, you see now Vincent Gwetchy just got into his stall. And it looks like Aaron Schugel is going to get the edge. He decides to go for that 2-tire strategy. And just like that, it's Page beating Thurston. Then it's going to be Brandon Dugan in 4th now. And it looks like he gets falling back to 5th. Demos gets himself up to position number 4 with Pravin Vijaykumar, Brandon Dugan, Jacob Wilkerson, Xander McKinney, Henry Kaloff, and Corey Lyles making up the bottom half of the top 10. So for Aaron Schugel, this caution going to work out big time, getting up to the front of the field on strategy. And you've got to wonder right now, how will the 2 tires work? Most of the field decides to go for something different. Matter of fact, I don't think Aaron Schugel went for tires. It looks like he has gotten a much shorter stop of anyone else. 2 drivers might have gone for 2 tires. And we're looking at the times to determine if that's the case. Brandon Dugan, who found himself on pit road for 9 seconds in his box, and Xander McKinney, who was there for 8.3 seconds. Now, it looks like Aaron Schugel going to get an end-of-line penalty, so he's going to get sent back. However, McKinney is going to be one of 2 drivers to be on the 2-tire strategy, and now Aaron Schugel is getting sent down and under for his involvement in that previous caution. We got to figure out whether or not going for a less tire-focused strategy early is a good thing, or if something else comes of it for those drivers in a negative sense. Of course, 32 laps in, still a ways to go, but I think by this point, every driver's used at least one set of rubber, and now they got to be conscious about when they make that next choice to come in and replace the tires they already have, because they only have 2 sets left at most. So it is River Page with a chance to lead the race for the first time tonight, finding himself up in front over Thurston Mosteller, and then Pravin Vijaykumar and Jacob Wilkerson. Coming down and in, it looks like it's going to be River who decides to go low, and in that sense, those other drivers behind him went lower. So Page ends up getting sent to the top. There's Jim Thurston with Daniel Mosteller now on the inside. And it looks like your top 3 in points are once again top 3 in this race. River, he's going to be the control car here, and he decides to keep it high. Success has been seen on both groups so far for drivers who are in control. But the high side looking to be more of the preference because, of course, of that banking. You have a little bit more of that comfort zone being utilized rather than having to clip the apron or time or two. You're in a much better position. So that's why the high side is going to come into play so much tonight, and these drivers are choosing to use it rather than just sticking it all the way down low. 33 laps in out of 100, coming to lap number 34 this time by. And it looks like River now in the position to go for the race lead and try to fight to get to that halfway point and even longer with himself in the lead. Everyone now going to be on a level playing field in regards to tires though, so don't expect a major advantage for those drivers up in front who previously got the jump. Everyone is fair game to fight for the top spot on the board. River going to get that jump at the green flag. Welcome back to racing. Green flag's out, and it's going to be Page up at the top of the board. River Page gets away, and we're going to have one driver going down in, multiple drivers. Vincent Guecci's going to be destroyed, and so is Scott Wilkerson alongside Tyler Tinsley. Cautions out again. And a big incident, a hit for the number 70. Then Guecci dived down and in and caught it, and it just got worse from there. Looking at it once more, you see number 70 of Scott Wilkerson getting loose out of 2, then dropping, and it looks like Vincent Guecci followed him and could not make his way out. Tyler Tinsley ends up getting hit after, and Guecci has lost the front end now. For Vinny, it looks like he's not used his fast repair so far, but he's going to have to. And as such, yellow flag is out once more. Looks like we've got ourselves another incident, and this first half getting dicey with another big hit. It looks like now Wilkerson going to be down on pit road after that one. Tyler Tinsley still going around, and looks like now making his way in as Vincent Guecci right behind Aaron Schugel. So as the iRacing official pace car gets back on the track again, it looks like River Page is indeed your leader. Didn't have much of a restart to fight for that lead for Thurston or Mosteller or anyone else involved, honestly, but still, now River Page getting to grips with how it's like on the restarts, and that control car has such a major advantage here at Darlington because of the way these restarts work out. Not jumping is trickier here at a track like Darlington because there's not a lot of room. So if you jump, it'll be more obvious, and if you don't, you're going to lose time, but of course you're not going to get penalized. And a lot of those drivers playing it a little bit safer with the knowledge that your race could be changed substantially based on a penalty at these restarts, which could be issued by the league itself or by iRacing, and iRacing not known to be nice about it. So with that being said, you do not want to play any games about those restarts. So for River, he's now got a chance to go at it once again and maybe even extend his lead. And if he does extend his lead, of course, going to help him out if we get that longer run that I think most of these drivers are eyeing eventually. This is the 4th caution of the day, and right now, as River Page is going to come across the line, we will have 2 laps to green. Daniel Osteller is going to be in 3rd with Pravin Vijaykumar in 4th, Jacob Wilkerson 5th, and Henry Kaloff position number 6. Then you see 7th is Jackson Carr, and 8th is Corey Lyles. Devins Baker is 9th, and Will Shack is in 10th. To round out the top 10 right now, and we have 16 drivers still driving. Alexander Balderas and Jacques Carter look to be the only drivers to retire, as Will Shack right now is going to be ahead of Brandon Dugan for 11th. Xander McKinney is 12th. Aaron Schugel is 13th, and Tyler Tinsley is now 15th because Vince Aguechi got back up there and he's 14th, finding himself in the middle of the field for a little while there, but that contact is going to send him back big. Scott Wilkerson is driving again, and it looks like after that huge incident, he got himself going. He's got the faster pair, and he can race again, but we'll see whether or not he gets involved in another incident, as he started that one and ended up getting destroyed even further. Guecci getting involved, and then Tyler Tinsley also getting damaged. Coming across the line, looks like River Page is going to stay exactly where he is, and no changes of it. It's River up to the top side once more. And the Jeff Page tribute, number 24, it's River on top, and then James Thurston going right down low. Demos decides to take top this time, which he did not previously. That's going to give Pravin the bottom side for the first time, and it looks like now that 01 with the opportunity to jump into the top 3 if this restart goes well. So maybe looking out for a first-time podium sitter in this field, as we've seen a few good rookies this campaign, notably last week with Ashton Crowder getting the win, fighting against Chase Shaver. It was a fantastic duel between the both of them, of course. And now, as they're both on the way, racing road to pro, maybe Pravin with an opportunity to fight for the top 3 and go for maybe a win on debut. It's not impossible in the way that's gone so far. Quite a lot of cautions in the early stint. Here we go again. It's going to be Thurston at the top of the board. He has River Page just beside him. Page going to be the control car. Let's see who gets the better jump here. I think River going to learn from that previous restart and make it an even better launch at the line. So River coming through, and he will get going right now. Green flags out. It looks like actually Thurston keeps him quite honest as we head into 1 and 2. And now River Page going to find himself getting that launch down the back straight, which gives him the advantage, and it comes down to the exit of 2. That was the difference, and it looks like for River, using that high side and get more momentum, that was the saving grace. He's going to get that opportunity and take it to the front. So now River Page going to lead the way with Demos looking, and also Jim Thurston, of course, sliding right under. And just like that, the 96 is going to keep in it as Demos is in the wall. And now Jacob Wilkerson's up inside the top 5. And just like that, Demos is going to have to drop a little bit lower, swoop up, and try to keep himself collected. But with that contact, of course, not going to be any easier. Now, Nationwide 87 prevails, as it looks like Jim Thurston now going to go up top. Huge contact. That looks to be Devins Baker, and another huge wreck. Caution has not flown just yet, and now it has. Yellow flags out, and it is decimation at the back of the field. Take a look one more time. Devins Baker among others involved. So now it's going to be Devins Baker all the way up to the high side, getting in the wall, and then coming down. He overcorrects, gets into Xander McKinney, then Tyler Tinsley, and then Scott Wilkerson. That might end Wilkerson's day. It might also end Tyler Tinsley's. And the caution has flown again. 42 laps in, and another incident. We haven't seen too many caution-packed races so far this season, but it looks like Darlington bringing out some feisty tendencies for these drivers as we are once again under-pacing. Daytona is typically the only exception, but it looks like now Darlington giving us a run for its money, and 42 laps in, we are once again pacing. Scott Wilkerson gets down to pit road. Xander McKinney and Devins Baker do as well. Looks like Baker might be done for the night, and a few drivers going down to the apron to save some fuel and merge back with the field. 42 laps in out of 100. We will restart at about lap number 45 here. And Jim Thurston is now the leader as he just barely got the lead, surging out of the exit of 4 to get that top spot. And that was all the difference. So for River Page, really didn't do anything wrong in that battle and might have even gotten the lead back by the entry of 1 or maybe somewhere through turn 2 or the exit. But wrong place, wrong time. And as such, River is no longer the control car. And he's going to find himself now be on the back foot. Of course, with so many yellow flags, he's got a ways to go. And maybe a good launch or two can get him back up there. Now going to have to sit back there as Thurston controls this restart. We'll be getting back green at lap number 45, and the South Carolina 133 has been exciting so far. Maybe a little bit less so for the drivers than they anticipated, but we've seen our fair share of dicey moments already. Scott Wilkerson is still on pit road. Xander McKinney has retired, and Devins Baker is getting a tow. Devins might not be able to compete for the rest of this one because he has already used his fast repair. And also, you've got Tyler Tinsley, who's used his one and only. I think he needs to get manual damage repair, which is going to take him quite a while if there's any opportunity, although I think there's motor damage alongside what we've seen, so Tinsley might be done as well. Thurston, up top here, is getting set to go at it again and will be your leader in a lap and a half's time. Jim Thurston going to be all the way on top. Just like that, Page going to be second and Daniel Mosteller is third. And we just got signal from Devins Baker. He is out for tonight's event, so he's going to be our 4th retiree. Scott Wilkerson has decided to stay on pit road, but nothing else has changed for the number 70. Otherwise, we now have 13 drivers within 1 lap of the leader, and 12 of which on the lead lap, going back to Brandon Dugan. A night of attrition so far, and to kick off the championship chase, it looks like the survival of the fittest mentality here at Darlington is in full effect. Coming across the stripe this time by, leaders are going to be coming through, and so are the rest of the pack. Everyone's choosing high and low, and it looks like for Thurston, he is going to take it right up top. High side's been the advantage for these drivers who are leading the way, and River Page is going to have himself an opportunity to go down low, and he's going to keep it right under. So Thurston's going to be with, this time, Jacob Wilkerson, and it is Jim Thurston with Daniel Mosteller. So a little bit of a shift up here. Your Season 3 champion looking to kick off tonight's championship battle strong and maybe go for his 2nd ever championship to tie Daniel Mosteller for the all-time lead. Wouldn't that be something, of course, to have Thurston get it up there? Sean Conklin won last season but has not been able to defend his title run due to his persistent participation in Road to Pro as a full-time contender at the top split level. Pace car going to drop in, and Jim Thurston will once again be in control. Here we go for the number 96. Up to the top side, Thurston has decided to take it, and the control car gets another nice launch. Green flags out once more. Thurston's got the lead, and we're back on the way from Darlington. Jim Thurston going to get out and away to a 3/10 of a second lead. Going to be side by side further on back. The middle of the pack definitely keeping things tight. You see there, Henry Kaloff, he's now just ahead of Vincent Guecci, and Vinny now trying to make a move. That would be for 60 he gets there. so far, still a few tenths away. Can't confirm he'll get there with the time he's got, of course, until perhaps the next yellow flag, but there's a large separation between the first pack and what's left. Tyler Tinsley and Scott Wilkerson with damage are still running, but not going to be with your leaders or anywhere near. Right now, Pravin Vijaykumar, the number 6 machine in terms of position, is trying to get inside the top 5 once again, and he's got Jackson Carr ahead and a little bit of contact, but he'll keep it straight and does not panic. That's the big thing right now. You just got to keep yourself together, and all 4 wheels pointed the right way is going to be the difference between a top 10 or a retirement for most drivers tonight. Now it's going to be Will Shack looking right up top on Brandon Dugan, and Dugan makes it by. That's good for 11th. Daniel Mosteller is now going to be just behind River Page. And the top 3 in the championship chase are up in front again, but Jacob Wilkerson, who finds himself a wild card entry, hoping to play this one with a little bit of a surprise, of course, to get up there with the front of the field and show that he's got what it takes to fight for the championship as well. Right now, 4th spot in the 43, and the part-time competitor for most of the season has turned it up as of late, and it looks to be going on for a full-time championship quest from here till the final race of the season. Wilkerson now going to keep himself within about a second's reach of the leader, and he's got himself just about halfway through inside the top 5. Not a bad start. He could still keep it going from here and maybe even make up more positions, but right now it's a lot of buffers between these drivers up in front, a few tenths apart for each, and it looks like now we're going to see a little bit more of that patient racing we were expecting as the night progressed. Corey Lyles is going to find himself in 8th. Now drop all the way in on Vincent Guecci. Nearly a little bit of contact, but luckily nothing will come of it. And you can see there, oh, now something might. Lyles is going to end up getting shot down low. And Vincent Guecci is going to stay exactly where he is. That's the bottom line. Of course, catching a piece. And when you're down there, you have no choice but to save it yourself. If you hit someone else, it's bad news. And if you end up spinning, it's a caution, most likely regardless. Now, 50 laps to go this time by. And coming down to only 49. Jim Thurston is up and away. He's got the advantage. Aaron Schugel now coming across with Henry Kaloff. Looking at this second grouping, they look to be a little bit further away from the first as it stands. All lead lappers are within 5 seconds of one another. I see like that, as right now more space is being built up each and every lap. But as it stands, it looks like now Aaron Schugel is going to be in the middle of a new grouping. Vincent Guecci is the captain of which, about a second and 2/10 away from Pravin Vijaykumar. And it is this second group from 6th to out to 11th that are now running each other down, with Brandon Dugan at the tail end of it. Aaron Schugel looking low, maybe an opportunity. But can't quite capitalize on it, so he'll have to wait, and you can see not going to have a chance to go 3 wide there, and he will decide to stay further on back. Henry Kaloff now goes right down and under Guecci. Could be a quick move for position, but Vinny's up in the wall, and once again, drivers getting unsorted are going to hit each other, and the 88 ends up in the wall sliding, and he's going to get spun around. That might be a caution. It looks like he keeps on going, so what's the call? Looks like we will stay under green. But Vincent Guecci, he has been no stranger to the chaos tonight. He's now coming up on the track and making it very hard for Tyler Tinsley to get out of the way. I'm sure he wants a caution as much as potentially Tinsley and those on back, but Guecci, he will not get it. Take a look one more time and you will see this was flaring up for about a lap's time, and now we're looking at it once more. Gets in the wall, and that's what really starts this off. And Henry Kaloff tries to get away from it, and he does get away with it. Then Guecci ends up being turned just like that. In all honesty, a lot of his own doing giving him that problem, and as such, the 88, he's now going to find himself 12th with substantial damage. Big trouble for Vincent Guecci, and it looks like now it's going to be very challenging for him to recover. As a matter of fact, he has already used that fast repair, and a lot of these drivers further on back have done so. Guecci, he is now far out of the loop. Jim Thurston up in front. Did Tyler Tinsley just go around? Yes, he did. And a single car spin for the 75. He will go down a pit road, and Tyler Tinsley, another incident, but he will drop it in, and that might just be the night. 57 laps in out of 100 for Jim Thurston, who's up and away. But now Pravin Vijaykumar fighting to keep that 5th spot. He's going to stay right under Jackson Carr. Jackson decides to go to the high side, trying to sweep up on the top. And you can see booking down the back straight, neck and neck at the line. The 83 remains right there, and it's going to be toe-to-toe with an 01 drifting top. He gets the pass right back on him. Nice move there, but it looks like Pravin still has a little bit of pressure right behind him. I don't know what it's going to take right now for him to get away, but the 01 makes the move to hold the position. Jackson Carr might have a little bit more to send back at him, but for the time being, that is not the case. As such, Provin's going to make it up inside the top 5. It looks like Tyler Tinsley is still on pit road, looking to get repairs, so we might see a little bit more of him as the race progresses here. And you'll see he's at a dead stop right now, as some of your leaders are going to make it right by River Page. Now going to be 4/10 of a second away from Jim Thurston, and Thurston now breaking out. First half was antsy, and it looks like right now everyone calming down, so we might see a little bit of that nice clean racing we've been accustomed to all throughout the season. Jacob Wilkerson is looking right in front of him, and he sees the podium in full. Up in front, you see where he stands in the matter. Of course, just trying to wait in the wings, get the opportunity if someone makes a mistake. And so far, nobody has done so. We'll ride a lap on board with Wilkerson and see what he's waiting for and see exactly how he's taking the track. Right now, Wilkerson going to find himself about a half a second away from Daniel Mosteller, 61 laps in, and he is still trailing, and it looks like that time by was a little bit slower than those who are up in front of him. And maybe a little bit slower than Pravin Vijaykumar, but nothing indicative of losing that spot anytime soon. The gains are very small for the 01, but small gains will add up, of course, over time. And with still about 40-odd laps remaining, if you continue gaining at that rate, there's a chance it's a few hundreds, and hundreds build up into tenths, tenths build up into seconds. So we're going to hopefully see something come of it, perhaps a battle, as everyone right now very, very calm on the racing circuit about the exact opposite of what we saw beforehand. River Page, 4/10 of a second away. He has been right about that marker for the majority of this run. 32 laps on this stint, and that is the most we've gotten of any to this point. That's about half of the race we've gotten so far, matter of fact. So we might expect one more pit stop at the absolute most, but it's still not a guarantee. 80% fuel limit means that we're most likely still going to get one more as insurance, because that would be about 60 plus laps to go on one run. And with all the laps we've run on yellow, still taking that into account, I don't think it's quite possible for these drivers unless they've been saving extensively. And I don't think anyone right now is necessarily doing that. River Page a little bit slower that time by than Jim Thurston, and Daniel Mosteller gets a chance to gain, and now the gap between them is only about 3/10 of a second at the absolute most. So just like that, the 87 has gotten his way in to the picture to perhaps gain second spot. Daniel Mosteller still trying to make some gains here. River Page is in second. And right now, since we have a little bit of time, it looks like there's a big opportunity for these drivers to evaluate the long term. Now, when we talk about the long term, we might be talking about the rest of this race, but you also have to consider the rest of this season. If you're tuning in with us right now, this is the first race of the championship playoff structure, which we have brought back new and improved for 2024. Now, last season, it was not a system that came down to win and you're in, or rounds of playoffs. It was straight up from top to bottom, and it came down to a dominant run between two drivers, Sean Conklin and Daniel Mosteller. Eventually, Mosteller, who was the points leader in the race that he missed one race, and that was the difference. And that gave Sean Conklin effectively the championship all to his lonesome. Pravin Vijaykumar going to be coming down and into pit road. You see him flashing by our cameras, and there he is, making his way down and through. Now, discussing the new points format, we have brought back the playoff system with a few additional twists. Now, instead of the IORA World Tour, which you might have remembered from Season 3's competition, we've kept the schedule regularized because that means that, of course, all prizes and such go down to the championship itself rather than an offshoot. Now, the IORA World Tour was something we saw in the Next Gen as we tried that out for the very first time with the brand new package and such. Now, things have changed just about a year on, and these drivers have gotten more accustomed to the Xfinity cars once again, giving us some great racing all the while, and the championship is now going to be established as a multi-round business. Now, wildcard drivers got in the likes of Jacob Wilkerson and Chase Schaefer, but right now it is a round of 12 we're looking at, and it's going to be that simple 12-8-4 format you see in stock car racing, and that's coming back here and now. It's time to see it play out in IORA. 69 laps in, and Jim Thurston with a great lead, and he's hoping to hold himself strong for the rest of the way. It looks like now River Page and Daniel Mosteller have a little bit more distance lost. It's going to be closer between the both of them, and Jim Thurston maybe getting away just a bit more as a result. Two drivers stressing each other out over second, and you can see for River Page's backside, yeah, Demos is getting much closer. Daniel Mosteller has made these slight gains lap after lap after lap, and the progression is becoming much more noticeable. Of course, took quite a lot of time to get to this point, but when you're within a quarter of a second, it feels increasingly more likely that you're going to make that pass and make it all stick. For Daniel Mosteller right now, he is on the up and up, and it might be for River Page more about defense as green flag pit stops have started. Corey Lyles is the second driver to go in. We mentioned Pravin went in just a few laps prior, and now Corey coming through on a 40-lap run, expecting drivers to come in within the next 10 to 15 laps, and you can see now Corey Lyles dropping in just like that. He's got his way. He's going to make it through on his lonesome. Leaders are getting even tighter now. You can see River Page is actually gaining to Jim Thurston. Just like that, you can see Thurston finding himself a little bit more trouble, gaining time, and it looks like previously he was consistently quicker, but that is the case no longer. River Page going to find himself now getting a little bit tighter to your race leader, and this could be a battle for the race lead before we even see pit road become a factor for the drivers up in front. And if that's the case, you're going to see a much different race from here on out, including or excluding the pit stops, however you like to see it. Down and in, that's Scott Wilkerson, 6 laps down, hoping to make up a few more positions, maybe on attrition alone. And Jacob Wilkerson comes by. That was close. Both of them are not related. There are 3 Wilkersons registered by our IORA competition. And Jacob, not related to our newcomers here, as you can see River getting in the wall a little bit, but he's still going, and the Darlington stripe will not dissuade him. Will Shack just went down a pit road that time by. And River is within a quarter of a second of your race lead, looking to go to the top of the charts, and it looks like now he is eyeing the prize 74 laps in. Now you can see another lapper coming in Vincent Guecci. He's going to drop down to the inside line and let the leaders go right by. Thurston has kept himself up there and kept calm, despite the fact that it looks like now Page maybe has the speed to keep up with him if he just keeps his head on here. 75 laps in out of 100. Next time by, we'll come down with only 25 laps to go. Thurston here is in a position where it looks like slowly but surely he's just going to have to wind it down and get to pit road safely. Looks like a lot of drivers are now getting themselves prepped for that final pit stop. Leaders have decided not to just yet, and since the top 3 are still bunched up, this race is still on 100%. I think right now it's just going to be all about getting to that point of coming down in and then going all out. The next pit stop cycle, the final of which for these leaders, that will be it. There's not enough time to consider going back down a pit road, whether or not we keep it green, whether or not we get a caution. It looks like right now it is definitive that this will be the final stretch for these drivers if and when they come down a pit road. Top three have stayed out so far, and it looks like they are confident 45 laps in and what they've got. We'll see if that's the case in the next 10 laps, because that could be all the difference. A few other drivers maybe signaling a little slower, but that's because Jackson Carr is side by side right now with Pravin Vijaykumar. Pravin, who went down a pit road, is quicker, and Jackson's in the wall. The 83 is going to get substantially much looser there, and you can see that he's going to end up getting contact, damage, and he is all out of the picture. Scott Wilkerson has to let Pravin by, and he is absolutely pushing through. New tires are quicker, and drivers know it. Looks like now Henry Kaloff going to try to test the theory for himself with 23 laps remaining. Next time by, we are going to crank it up with the best cameras in the iRacing platform, and that is TrackCams22.com. For iRacing's highest quality cameras, broadcasters, no other choice besides TrackCams22. Over 100 cars and tracks. The cameras are limitless with multiple customization options for different styles of racing. Check out TrackCams22.com or Facebook.com/TrackCams for more information as we crank it up with 22 laps to go. Coming down and in, River Page going to find himself on pit road, and so is Jim Thurston. Top two drivers coming in about a lap apart, and now with Thurston down and in, he's going to make his way out. It looks like 4 tires and fuel, and his pit stop going to be just about 47 seconds. 47.7 when it comes down to the specifics. River Page still on pit road here. All the while, he's still entering, and it's a long entryway down and in the winding pit road of Darlington Raceway. River just got into his stall 30 seconds into his pit road experience. Daniel Mosteller, he's up in front ahead of Jim Thurston here on a 1-lap advantage, and it looks like now maybe that undercut is the way to go. River finding himself now down and out, getting on the way. He's got the youngest set of tires, and it looks like he will come out ahead of Thurston, but we'll see if he beats him out of 2, because it looks like now, yep, Jim's going to get by. So Thurston is 4.8 seconds behind Daniel Mosteller. 48 tenths. He has to make up 48 tenths in 15 laps. Whether or not that's possible, of course, comes down to whether or not Thurston has that much of a tire advantage. It's 2 laps the difference right now, and when he comes across the line, it's only 1 lap. So it's not a major edge right now that Thurston has on Daniel Mosteller. However, it looks like he's already gained about a half a second, and with 14 to go, maybe Thurston going to have a chance to put Mosteller back on notice. The 87 up in front of the field, getting up a little bit higher there, but no loss of control, and he looks to have himself in a very good position right now to just keep on running with no difficulties. Jackson Carr is going to get by Henry Kaloff. That's the position. Fighting for 6th. So now Kaloff is going to find himself a little bit further back and maybe a chance to slice right back through. Working down the straight again. Nothing going to come of it. Jim Thurston is now 8 seconds back of your overall race leader, because your leader is Pravin Vijaykumar with a 4.3 second lead, a dozen laps to go. So we didn't even mention the possibility that as it stands, Pravin could win. He's 40 tenths ahead. So we break down the math, 40 tenths in 12 laps. He's got to be pushing at least a quarter of a second faster every lap Demos is. He's got a 17-lap tire advantage, so Pravin maybe with a chance to hold on for a podium here, but it's not going to be easy, and these final few minutes will be agony for the driver who might try to win as a first-time starter, leading the way with 11 laps to go. Very, very good first impression overall, getting involved with one incident tonight, but otherwise has been quite solid, and now leads the way 90 laps in, but Demos is caught up by 2 seconds since. So as it stands, Daniel Mosteller has gotten to within 2.5 seconds of your overall race leader, Pravin Vijaykumar. Now, Jim Thurston, he's still just about 2 seconds behind Demos. So we're going to see 3 drivers potentially battling for the race lead, and if River Page can pull himself back in it, he might be the 4th of which. Now, he's going to have to get by a few other drivers, including a lapper in Scott Wilkerson, and get by last. So he's going to have his huge disadvantage getting into the battle, but once he's there, the younger set of Goodyear rubber might be what carries him through. A damaged Scott Wilkerson is faster than your leader and coming up quick with 9 laps to go this time by. It looks like now Pravin definitely losing speed, and it looks like there's nothing more he can do. Wilkerson going to get out of the way, and you can see now the 87 is in hot pursuit. This is the battle for the race lead, and you can see the number 88 up in front making the charge. He's doing the hard work first, and having Pravin as a little bit of a backup might be the most important part for the 87. Coming down and in, working through the back straightaway, and you can see Daniel Mosteller. He is there, 0.2 of a second, working down to the back bumper of Pravin. He's going to try to go under. He actually double checks himself. Now, the nationwide number 87 is going to be just about on the back bumper, and once he got there, he was able to slide right down and in. Just like that, Demos up in front, and he's got the lead with Jim Thurston, now 0.4 of a second away. River Page, meanwhile, is only within 2 seconds of the battle, and he is coming in quick. Pravin right now going to be in third. He's gotten slotted back fast. Meanwhile, there goes Jim Thurston. Thurston now finding himself 0.2 of a second away with 7 laps to go. Mosteller maybe with a better opportunity to hold off Thurston here, but the difference is clear, and the 87 is going to end up top. Maybe Demos was saving something because it's only a 1-lap difference in tire, and they're touching each other for the first time. The 96 down low at the stripe. Thurston with the advantage. Now the 87 is going to back off quite a bit, letting Thurston go all the way into the corner. Does Mosteller have a response? Is there anything left in the tank? It doesn't look like it there. He's just going to find himself by the wayside. Jim Thurston up in front. He's going to now be your race leader. Page still trying to get himself in the fight, and he's still quicker. Has 6 laps to go to make up 1 second. And at the pace he's going, he will just barely enter the fight at the right time. We'll see whether or not now Thurston with a clean air is going to be even quicker than before. Daniel Mosteller looks to be locked in for a podium, but now the question is, does he hold on for that second spot? That's going to be the big question mark for his race from here on out, and it looks like as it stands, he's going to be firmly in second, but Page is quicker by about 1/10 of a second a lap on Thurston and about a 1/2 second a lap on Mosteller. So the difference is clear, and it's going to be more noticeable now with 4 laps to go. Aaron Schugel gets by Corey Lyles, and Thurston now getting away is going to see the fight for second get exciting all over again. Just like that, River Page finding himself up in front. Now a chance to go for second and maybe put himself in the middle of the podium. But Daniel Mosteller will only have 3 complete laps to keep on defending. As it stands, you can see Page right there. He's been on the back bumper. He's been looking for the opportunity to go through and make that run. But Demos has been defending well. And here, Darlington, if you keep the defense top notch, it's going to be so much trickier to make a pass. But eventually, Page just finding a way down low, and Mosteller, nothing he could do. He saw the sign. He's going to end up staying up top and at the line. Popsicle sticks, 2 laps to go. River's going to be low with an edge, but Mosteller is still right there. And they're going to be side by side into the corner again. Coming up on Vincent Guecci, they're going to squeeze up top. Looks like Page gets loose, and that's going to give Demos a minor advantage. Coming out of the corner, the 88 now has a fighting chance. Now going to be 2 by 2, coming into 3 and 4, and it's gonna be all about this next lap. White flag is gonna fly. The battle for second continues. Page might have the advantage, but right now it looks like it's all Jim Thurston for the race lead. Page is gonna slide down to the inside once again. Still Demos fighting. Demos is in the wall. Page gets second. Meanwhile, up in front of the field for the LW Wright throwback of the night, Jim Thurston is gonna take his gold and matte black number 96 out of 3 and 4 and back to victory lane in the throwback track of the IORA Cup Series. Welcome to the playoffs. Jim Thurston wins your championship chase opener. The checkered flag is his in the South Carolina 133. Thurston gets it done. The checkered flag goes to the 96, and he wins on throwback night. Jim Thurston will win then from River Page second, Daniel Mosteller third, Pravin Vijay Kumar in fourth on debut, and Jackson Carr fifth. Going to be sixth for Aaron Schugel and seventh for Henry Kaloff, with Corey Lyles eighth, Jacob Wilkerson ninth, and Brandon Dugan in 10th. Will Shack 11th, Vincent Guecci 12th, and Scott Wilkerson 3rd. Then Tyler Tinsley, position number 14, and Devins Baker in 15th, Xander McKinney 16th, Alexander Balderas in 17th, and Jacques Carter, your final starter of the day. And the celebration's going to continue here for Jim Thurston and River Page, first and second. It looks like they will be celebrating together as Thurston continues his burnouts. Jim Thurston gets the job done. What a way to win for the number 96 crew tonight, and we're going to get a word from our race winner. First off here, checkered flag is his in the IORA Cup Series. For Thurston, tonight came down to a pit strategy race. Of all things, we saw the green flag run of the second half, and it was excitement from top to bottom. Let's get a word from your top driver in right now. It's the 96 of Jim Thurston, and it looks like dominant today. The LW right throw back here. We saw you had success with it earlier this week, and it's coming alive again. Thurston, the checkered flag is yours, and you're going to win with 63 laps led. How does it feel getting it done at the Lady in Black?
Yeah, we're just doing it for LW again. I don't know what it is about running these schemes and winning races here, but it seems to work. We're running the same scheme next week for Talladega as well. And if we win there, we might just run it the rest of the season. It's that was a really, really good win there for Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsports. This whole group just really happy to finally get one, closed out. We've had so many this season that could have been wins, that should have been wins, that just didn't work out. And this one, it finally did. We finally had a long green flag run to the end, and it finally worked out.
Everything working out here, and it's a huge race because it is our playoff opener. So opening up with such momentum, and you were, when it comes to the overall pace, definitely on top tonight. What was it like figuring that out and understanding what it took to truly make everything work with the pace and strategy, overall having such a smooth race?
Yeah, I haven't really done much of this car here at night before, so it was just kind of interesting because all the races I've done with this car have been during the day in really hot conditions, and this race was not during the day; it was during the night, and we had really cool conditions. So the track picked up like a couple of seconds every lap compared to during the day. So, I mean, just that in itself was something to figure out. It made the car drive a little bit tighter than I thought it would be. And so once we figured out how to save tires, how to run fast, what lanes were good, which ones weren't, there in 3 and 4, it all came together there. But yeah, when most pit there a lap before I did, I thought it was over because I thought he took 4 and was 5 seconds ahead of me. But since he was only on 2, we caught him pretty quickly, and we pulled it off there at the end. So yeah, just doing it for LW, and yeah, I'm just happy to finally get one done this season.
And it's a fantastic way to come through with a victory. Now, the B-Man Designs 200 is up next. Talladega. It's anyone's race, and we saw you went flipping last season. I don't think you want to replicate that. Maybe a chance to come back with perhaps another victory?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd hope that we can avoid flipping this time. We need to finish one of these super speedways. I don't think we finished a super speedway in Iora in a long time. Every single time it seems like something happens. I mean, at Daytona, we were in position to win the race, and they all wrecked in 3 and 4, and we got, I don't even know what we got, but it wasn't a win. So we're gonna go to Talladega with the LW car again. We're gonna see if we can pull one off.
And hoping to come through with the checkered flag, kicking off the playoffs with a brand new look and a drive for success. Jim Thurston, if you have any final shout-outs to make sure to let us know.
Should be good. Just thanks for broadcasting, and can't wait to come back next week.
Just like that, Thurston coming through with the victory here at Darlington. We thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thurston now on the way. We're going to go on our second place driver tonight. That is River Page. 14 laps led and a chance at the race victory, and just barely coming home with second. Great battle between you and Daniel Mosteller for that position. Runner-up on the night here in Darlington, and not a bad night overall for this team coming in with the points lead and a podium coming out. How you feeling?
Yeah, I feel good. That should have been my race, though. I'm never good at those strategies where there's no real decision to make because in the regular race you just pit right at the middle, but right there, like Thurston, I think Demos pit before us and he took 2, so Thurston was trying to get on that, and I passed him, so he pit behind me, and then I just did that extra lap, and I had a pretty good advantage actually. I made up like a second and a half on that last run, but I wasn't going to catch Thurston, and then I had to race Demos. But it's fun. I led a lap. I got the fastest lap, so I got some good points. And yeah, it's a fun race. The first half was kind of sketchy. I took tires right at the like lap 20, and I was just going to run away with the lead and win by a mile if it went green. But I was kind of off the bar, I was down a tire set, so I just needed it to go green. So I'm just really lucky that we didn't get another caution at the end.
And getting that green flag run, of course, helping out with getting the strategy through and the long-term green flag racing. It looks like this number 24 car came alive. What was it like in those final laps having to charge up so quickly to make it up to the podium?
Yeah, I was honestly I was scared. I did not think that I was gonna be able to get up there. I think Demos was like 6 seconds in front of me or 6.5 seconds in front of me when I came out. So I thought it was pretty over for me, but he took two. So me and me and Thurston ended up making a lot of time up on him. But I really wish that we were able to make it to the end there. I was gonna get around Thurston, and I had a lot more pace than him on the long run. I'm just like I said, I'm glad to get it back to second. It was kind of scary. I was really pushing at the end. My tires were pretty destroyed for the run that we did. I was super tight at the end. I think that's why me and Demos were making some contact. I literally couldn't hold it underneath him. So I'm just glad to be able to get back up to where I was. But I really feel like I should have had that.
Well, all things considered, a great way to keep the momentum going here for the playoffs. And up next is Talladega. What's it going to take to maybe keep it moving at one of the most exciting tracks and, of course, unpredictable as any super speedway is?
Well, I mean, I think I'm one of the best super speedway racers in the field, but I've never really been able to put it together. And this package, with the super speedway package with this car, is just super track position based. So we're just gonna have to run up front and hope we don't get wrecked. I've had pretty insane luck when it comes to IORA super speedways. I think the season opener this year was the first time I've been like wrecked out of one, and I still finished because it was in the last lap. So. It'll be fun. I've won a lot of super speedway races recently that I've done like an NR or whatever. So I just hope I can keep my momentum going and if not win, just another good finish. Just need to stay consistent like I've been.
And consistency is key for the 24 crew. River Page, if you have any final shout outs to make, the floor is yours.
Yeah, just shout out to Haggard Electrical and the Jeff Page. The Jeff Page throwback uh was fun to drive today. So just yeah, it was fun. Shout out to you. Shout out to the Mason and the admins, and shout out to Thurston and Demos. That was a really fun race.
River Page, runner-up in tonight's race here, getting it all working out in that second half. How you feeling after that one? It looks like pretty good. Thank you for your stopping by.
Thank you.
Page going to be back on the move, and he's our second-place driver. Daniel Mosteller third today, and he comes out one lap led. So for Demos, it looks like you didn't get all too much credit up in front, but you fought for it, and you had the strategy to maybe make something gutsy happen. Either way, podium finish, not bad in the slightest.
Yeah, I needed a run like this. I think if I ran out that final run all the way to the end of the fuel window, I think my strategy would have worked with taking two tires. But yeah, I got held up behind Pravi there just a little bit, and that gave Thurston a little more time to catch me. And once he got by me, it was just about just trying to salvage anything. I thought I could hold on to second with River, but two tires, it was just way too loose there at the very end of the run, of the small run we had there to close out the race. But third, that's not bad. That's where I was running basically the whole race. I tried a Hail Mary to maybe beat them. I wasn't gonna pass them on pace to get a lap lead, which is some bonus points. That's good. Wish it could have been better, but third's not all too bad.
And not all a bad finish here. Very solid. Where you started is where you finish. And tonight, the tale of two races, really. That second half, maybe more than what we expected. You and the rest of the front runners getting away. What was it like as everyone settled in and settled down to get that racing moving?
Yeah, I was expecting a few more yellows. That first half of the race, it was played with yellows, and we really didn't get to see how each other's long run pace was. But as we got that long run, I was able to hang with the leaders. But I wasn't making gains on them. I was staying equal, maybe losing a little bit of time there. So to pass them on pace, it probably would not have been easy. I don't think it would have happened. So that's why I took two tires. But yeah, if I ran it all the way to the end, I think it maybe would have worked. But we'll never know because I never did it. But as I said, third's not too bad. I think this is my first podium since the Roval, and the second half of the regular season was pretty tough for me. So to come back and start the playoffs with the podium is pretty good.
Well, for the two-time champion, this is your first ever opportunity to work with the new playoff system. You took Season 3 off, and Season 4 was all-out points. Now, getting the momentum in to make it past the first cut. What's it like with a different environment, of course, trying to make this happen?
Yeah, it's just cool. I wish it was a full season point format because I'm gonna miss Watkins Glen, which is really unfortunate because I'm gonna be in Charlotte for the 600. And Watkins Glen, I'm so good on the road courses. That's probably a race that I could easily score max points, honestly, and make a good impression. I get a lot of points on the river in Thurston. Since I'm going to miss it, I'm gonna have to take my drop week, and I'm gonna get the least amount of points out of anybody. So that's gonna be a big blow in my championship hopes. But there's still a few more races to possibly make up those points. Talladega, I think, is next week, so that'll be a big wild card, and that's probably going to make or break a lot of seasons.
And a make or break race coming right up next on the schedule. But tonight, Daniel Mosteller, very consistent run and a very solid finish. Any final thoughts for us after tonight's race?
I want to thank you for broadcasting. River Thurston, fun racing with them. Mason for off track and running the league. He does an awesome job, and yeah.
Just like that, the 87 of Daniel Mosteller, third in the day here in the Lady in Black. We thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We got a lot of action coming up next on FTN, but tonight we conclude our presentation of the South Carolina 133 with our interviews from our top 3 drivers. We thank them all for stopping by live on FTN. We're to go get ready for the Highline Racing League presentation in about a half an hour's time. We hope you enjoyed tonight's coverage from virtual IORA Cup Series, Darlington Raceway, the place to be. And just like that, we'll be moving on to our next event at 9:30 Eastern. Thank you all for watching live on FTN. I've been your host, David Kreutz, commentator and producer, and we will see you at the next event in about 30 minutes' time. Hope to catch you all, and we hope you have a great night.